So we have Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 4, and so many crazy things happen in this chapter that I couldn't believe what I was actually reading. From Boruto using the flying raijin jutsu, a brand new villain group, Kashin Koji finally returning after 3 years, and Sasuke turning into a tree. Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 4 was absolutely insane. So without further ado, let's get into it, man. So chapter 4 starts off with Boruto tracking the Ten Tails, as with the end of chapter 3, Boruto was able to find out where the Ten Tails was, since Boruto was warned in code that yo, this Ten Tails is going to get out of control, and if you don't scrap them, it will create the worst possible outcome for everyone involved. And in this chapter, we see why Boruto was completely ignoring Code's warnings and tried to tell him that this Ten Tails that he is creating is going to be so unstoppable that no one will be able to control it. And as we see, Boruto did use the flying raijin to get to Code after tracking where the Ten Tails is. And this was crazy to see, considering that Boruto has been gone for 3 years and we really haven't seen Boruto's full arsenal yet. Of course, we did see him use the Rasengan Uzahiko last chapter, but with him using the Flying Thunder God Jutsu, Boruto has once again evolved his overall arsenal, as he does use it to get to the dimension where Code is at. And the one thing I really want to highlight when it comes to Boruto is he really isn't using any of his Otsutsuki powers. If you noticed for the past 3 chapters, and including this one, when he starts to fight the Shinju Enemies, Boruto isn't relying on his karma at all. In fact, he's using his other jutsus like his katana, like the Flying Thunder God Jutsu, and other variety jutsu such as lightning style jutsu. He has completely shied away from using the karma seal. That being said, once Boruto does teleport to where Code is at, he discovers that the Ten Tails is gone, and immediately he senses something behind him. And reading this on stream, this scared the shit out of me. What the f is that? Oh my god! What is that? What type of Resident Evil 4 bullshit is that? The designs that are shown are crazy, and of course when Code sees it for the first time, he realizes that this is actually Bug. Bug has the same facial structures as whatever this Ten Tails being is. As we seen last chapter, Bug was turned into a tree, and because of this, the Ten Tails was able to form another variation of Bug. As we see in the following pages, is incredibly powerful. He was able to catch Boruto off guard with its crazy speed, where even the Ten Tails itself is starting to speak, where he does say, "Have you come to offer yourself to be devoured, Otsutsuki Boruto?" And this is crazy to think that the Ten Tails can actually speak, knowing that the Ten Tails, at least from what has been established so far, are just beings who just want to devour Otsutsuki. They can't think, they don't have a mind, they aren't able to formulate any sort of thoughts when it comes to something like this. So the fact that we see a Ten Tails being speaking to Boruto has immediately changed everything, and we see this for the rest of the chapter. This is why Boruto was warning Code about this Ten Tails army, considering that this was modified by Code's claw grimes. And as much as Code has become a fraud and has become the main meme of the Boruto community, the one thing we cannot take away from him is that he has essentially created these monsters from the Ten Tails that are able to think and formulate their own thoughts, which is scary to think about. And after fighting the Bug Shinju beast, Boruto realizes that he cannot take this thing down without the help of Code. So surprisingly enough, which did take me by surprise, Boruto actually rescinds the Uzahiko from hurting Code and tells him to team up with him. And as Boruto is explaining that whoever is taken in by these god trees are being turned into these Ten Tails like beings, another being is up above in the sky, where that Ten Tails tree describes how the Ten Tails operates, saying that all life on a planet, both current as well as past and long dead, suck the chakra out of all living things to create a chakra fruit, which is the plant of every single Ten Tails. And as we've seen in the first 3 chapters of 2 Blue Vortex, every time that there was a Ten Tails, its instinct was to just bite anything, hoping that it is an Otsutsuki to form that chakra fruit. However, these Ten Tails beings are completely different. Thanks to Code modifying these Ten Tails, they have evolved to the point where they have awakened self-awareness. They can think, they can talk, they can have a clear, concise conversation with other people. Not only the Bug Shinju beast, but also Harley Quinn herself. And it's so funny that this female version of the Shinju is talking to Code, calling him a clown, which is gotta be the most ironic thing ever, because you gotta look at her design. She is a clown herself, and she describes Code perfectly, to be a clown who ends up being used by someone else. And when it comes to Code's character, that's how it's always been. As much as the story tries to make Code this big bad evil threat, the story has always made it a point to make him a joke. And once again, this is what happens in chapter 4. These characters are on a whole different level, to the point where Boruto, his calm, cool, collected demeanor that he was flexing on against Code, is no longer there. There is a sense of urgency, as we see the Toad that Boruto is speaking to is telling him to wrap things up, or else he could potentially die, since he knows that these Ten-Tails are trying to devour Boruto. Anyways, we cut from the confrontation with the Shinju's, Boruto, and Code back to the Hokage office, where Shikamaru and Kawaki are discussing where did Boruto go. Kawaki obviously still has his motive of trying to kill Boruto, as he tries to tell Shikamaru that Boruto and Code may be linked by chance. If they are working together, this will be another opportunity to take him down. And with Sarada, she immediately comes to Boruto's defense by saying that Code was the one who attacked Konoha and Boruto was the one who drove him away from obvious harm. Kawaki tries to deny this by saying that Boruto is just another Otsutsuki, and no matter what his motives and thinking is, he is still an Otsutsuki at the end of the day that needs to be killed simply because of who he is. Now, I understand what Kawaki's trying to say, but my boy's being a little bit racist right here, and I get it is the Otsutsuki, but all I'm gonna say on this channel, OLM, Otsutsuki lives matter. Shout out my guy Momoshiki. But Sarada simply doesn't care. Even though Kawaki wants to kill Boruto and even describes himself as an Otsutsuki killing an Otsutsuki, even with his powers that he does have, Sarada reassures to Kawaki that this will not happen. As long as she is here, she is a shinobi who aims to become Hokage, and she will not let Kawaki have her way to kill Boruto, since after all, she does know that Boruto is innocent in all of this. Sarada then deduces that Boruto knows something that nobody knows about, hence why he was able to drive Code away from the village, which is why they have a hostile relationship to begin with. And since Code is a threat to Konoha since he attacked the village with that Ten-Tails army, Sarada even suggests to Shikamaru that they should help out Boruto in taking down Code. Now, this is going to be a massive decision, considering that they don't really know what Boruto is up to and what his thinking is, since Sarada herself doesn't even know what's going on. Now, of course, they could ask Ada, which is probably going to happen, where she will reveal that the Ten-Tails has gone out of control, and I think this is where the Leaf Village will have a better understanding of where Boruto is coming from. However, there's going to be a lot of distaste when it comes to helping Boruto in the end. This is going to be a massive decision, considering how much hatred the Leaf Village have toward Boruto. Let's not forget about the events of the Omnipotence happening after all, and that is going to be a problem. However, there is a bigger problem at hand with this big four, aka the Golden State Warriors. We gotta introduce our starting lineups. First, we got our boy Bug, who has turned into one of these Shinjus, and then we got Harley Quinn, and then I have no idea who this is, so for some reason people in my chat are calling him Alfredo. We're gonna call him Alfredo. Finally, the last person that hasn't been shown yet, which they have been hinting throughout the chapter, this final Shinju that has been hiding his face suddenly attacks Boruto, and we finally see that this is actually Sasuke. When I first read this on stream, I thought it was just a coincidence, like, yo, he kind of looks like Sasuke, but he actually does the Chidori, and you actually see Sasuke's hand with a glove on it, indicating that this is actually Sasuke. Sasuke has turned into one of these Shinjus. You can call it Juubi Sasuke, so we're gonna call him Juubi Sasuke for now. Of course, this isn't the real Sasuke with this consciousness, and as we see, Boruto and Juubi Sasuke, they clash. They do the iconic Chidori Rasengan clash. At this point, Boruto realizes that he cannot take on these four alone. The Bug Juubi comes after him, and then Harley Quinn does our Earth style jutsu, and then we got Alfredo flying in the sky, looking at him as if he's nothing. Like, this is literally the 2018 NBA Finals, LeBron versus the super team Avengers. My boy Boruto cannot do anything, and even though Boruto is telling Code to help him out, Code realizes that, yo, this is a chance for them to devour you to get a chakra fruit, and this is where Code actually dips. Now, I did call him a pussy in my stream, but I'm not gonna lie, this is actually a a good chess move from Code, as not only is this a way for him to escape from danger, since he knows that he is the weakest one amongst all of these characters here, but they will do the dirty work for him. He knows that, man, I can't kill Boruto, he's too strong, but these four, hey, they can do it for me, and that's what's happening here. The Toad that is talking to Boruto tells him that you gotta get out of here before you die, and if you don't, it'll be all for nothing. And this is where Boruto dips using the flying raijin jutsu. And this is the scariest part here. My man Alfredo is saying that you are lucky, Boruto Otsutsuki. He explains that our self-awareness, having just awakened, overflowing curiosity and thirst for knowledge are still surpassing our instinctual drive to devour you. So run where you will, but no matter where you go, know that you can never escape your destiny. This is absolutely awesome here, because I love that there is these new villains that aren't essentially power hungry, while this is their overall goal. What makes these characters interesting, and I think this is what makes them different from the Kara organization, for example, is that these characters are learning. He explains that they have a thirst for knowledge that is surpassing their drive to devour an Otsutsuki, which means that these characters are only going to get smarter, they're going to find ways to get stronger, and most likely they are going to find a way to devour an Otsutsuki, whether it's Boruto or Kawaki. If they fail, they will find another way to do it no matter what, and they will get smarter and stronger at the same time. This kind of reminds me of Perfect Cell in a way. It is 4 characters here instead of 1, but it's sort of a similar thing, another Dragon Ball reference from Ikimoto and Kishimoto. Of course, Boruto has kind of done a lot of Dragon Ball references with Ada and Damon with the androids, of course, and many other examples, but this is giving me Cell vibes, right? You have something that really is just a pure monster, giving it a brain to think, formulate thoughts, and become smarter, which is more dangerous than the overall Ten Tails itself. And this is why Boruto's warning Code to scrap the Ten Tails, since he knows that nobody's going to be able to stop it, and not even Boruto himself. And I love this. I think this is great from Kishimoto, because the Boruto villain cast, at least before these 4 were introduced, was a little bit on the shaky end. You know, Ada and Damon, as much as they are viewed as antagonists, they are still on the good guy side, at least for now. And with Code, that boy is a straight punching bag. He is consistently getting embarrassed over and over and over again that I've lost count, and with this happening, he is thrown to the side once more. I'm gonna be real, I don't think Code will ever get over that hump, which I think this is going to be a consistent thing. Maybe this could change, but at this point, I don't ever see Code getting to that level of a villain of where someone like Ishiki or Momoshiki ever was. These are the 4 main villains, and I think this is great because they are going to get smarter, they're going to find ways to get stronger, and these battles coming up, whether it's with Boruto or the Leaf Village, with Kawaki and Code, it's going to be crazy, man. So this is perfect setup, and I absolutely love it. Anyways, Boruto gets back from the battle using flying raijin jutsu, where he is chilling under a tree, where a man comes up to him telling him that you almost destroyed the planet if you didn't stop fighting, since he almost would have gotten cornered and would have gotten devoured by the Ten Tails. And we find out that this person talking to Boruto is my boy Kashin Koji. It's been a couple years, it's been about 3 years in the manga since we've last seen my boy Koji. The last time we saw Koji was when he was fighting Ishiki, and he did escape from him, and many people were actually saying that they may actually have killed Koji off screen. However, this was not the case here, and I'm so glad he's back, because it does seem like Koji has taken Boruto under his wing. As we've seen in the past chapter, Koji has been giving Boruto instructions on basically what to do just in case Boruto's plan failed, which in this scenario it did. He was giving Boruto warnings, and I really like that because Koji's keeping Boruto on the right path. Koji tells Boruto that they still must fight and stop the Ten Tails in order to save everyone, and that includes Sasuke himself. As we see in the last page of the chapter, my boy Sasuke unfortunately has been turned into a tree. Nah, man, that don't feel right. It just don't. But the way this story has been going, I'm not surprised at all that Sasuke has been turned into a tree. Many of us have been wondering where the hell is Batman Sensei, but as we see right here, my boy has turned into Treesuke, unfortunately. And I mean, this was something that a lot of you guys have been talking about in the comment section for the past couple of chapter reviews. I was bringing it up, but didn't think that this would genuinely happen. I just threw that idea out there when some of you guys were mentioning it in the comment section. Now, I thought Sasuke was still lurking somewhere, but the fact that he's still here is like, damn, he really is a tree. I think this is great because as much as we all love Sasuke and we love Naruto, of course, the two main driving factors of Boruto when it comes to guiding the new generation is gone. Naruto sealed away, Sasuke is now Tree-kun. These motherfuckers are gone. It's all up to Boruto and whoever's in the village that still believes him, with Sarada for example. So I think this is the right direction. And I do want to do a quick self-plug real quick. Over at the Peak Fiction YouTube channel, me and my boy Mello were discussing Boruto chapter 3, and we did throw some ideas around that Sasuke may have been turned into a tree and the Ten Tails is going to form a conscious thanks to Code, and that prediction came into fruition. We were actually correct. You know, I gotta give myself a pat on the back. But this is a great chapter right here. I kind of wish Code was killed off. I think that would have hit even more when it comes to these villains. I truly don't know what his purpose is anymore. He's just on the side again. I think it would have been much better if you just killed his ass off, because at this point, whatever he does, he's just gonna get used again. He's been trying to do it for the past, what, 2.5 years, 30 chapters-ish? So at this point, it's like, who cares about him anymore? We have 4 bigger threats that are on the level of Boruto. It's kind of crazy to think how the scale of the series is getting bigger. Let me know what you guys think about Boruto chapter 4. I really wanted to talk about every single detail in this chapter, considering that there was a lot of plot that was moved in this chapter, and I'm glad because we are moving very fast and, you know, introducing these characters that are actually the real villains so far in this arc. I'm gonna call it the Ten Tails arc because it is the Ten Tails. I think this is the right direction for Boruto, and I'm glad we're actually using the Ten Tails itself as the main villain rather than introducing other Otsutsuki. I do imagine that they will come into play. I'm glad that we are focusing on the immediate threat with the Ten Tails that was established in chapter 1, and we're finally seeing why Boruto was so worried, and we're finally seeing why Boruto was warning Code to scrap that Ten Tails. And let me know, do you think a character like Damon could contend with these characters? They probably can, but this is good. This is crazy, bro. This is crazy. So let me know what you think about all of that in the comment section below. So if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell as well, and have a good day. Peace.